Alright, as you can see, there's a couple of modifications that I made. I changed a few textures, and the reason for that is so that I can show you, and I've already installed this add-on. So just pressing the N panel, I'll go ahead and pull this up, and this is an add-on shader. And what it's going to let me do is click on any object that I've made, save it, and when it saves it starts recording and mapping automatically, doing the UV maps. And then I can come down here and pick materials, and there's a specific company tutorial on this, so I wouldn't try to overlap that. But if you watch enough of my tutorials, you'll pick up a good bit of it. And then I can come down here and choose metallic objects, wooden, concrete, cloth, plastic, manufactured. And so just to kind of give you an idea, we could do why not? Could be a granite top table, so let's check that out. Give Blender just a second to catch up and do that. Get the N panel out of the way. Okay, it's pretty nice, and you can see that kind of granite floor, granite tabletop, and it's matching the marble floor. And on cycles, that does look pretty good. Let's switch over to the Eevee and get a look at that. There's a lot going on, so it takes it a second to catch up. Not too bad, kind of looks plasticky. I'm not really impressed with that. That's why I would render this in cycles. And just to give you an idea of what's going on behind the scenes, we go over to the shader tab, and you can see that the principal BSDF is not there. What this company has done is they've added their own Pixat BSDF, and you can customize, you can make this yourself. But just to see what it takes to make something look like that, it's pretty intense. So you could, even so, go in here and modify some of these more simple attributes, and you can see the table changing in the background. If you wanted it to be blue, so you don't have to know absolutely everything about texture nodes and shading to get in here once you've got an add-on from somebody. So let's see, what else could we mess with here? I don't want to mess with any of the mixers, RGBs. Yeah, so I mean, you could change some of these, but it wouldn't do any justice actually. So you would just leave all that. Now, you could definitely change the color. There's a few different things going on in here. When you learn a little bit more, you can modify them to kind of suit your needs. And I'll probably just leave that for now. But it's kind of like an off blue on a blue. Let's see, what can we do here? Let's go, grab it the wrong way. Make that a little bit darker again. It's pretty nice. It's an awful lot of reflection going on. Let's see, do I have it? Yeah, I got the HDR lighting, which is not what I want. That's gonna offer a lot of reflections because that HDR lighting is world lighting. Alright, so that's pretty good. Now, continuing on, there's a couple different things you want to do here. I'm going to switch back to my viewport shading in solid view, and I'm going to go over to random. Not using a metcap, I'm just using random so you can see what belongs to what. So somewhere in the middle, I'm going to want, I can just put the cursor to world origin. So kind of move it right about there. And what that's going to do is that's going to be our hole for our wires. We're going to have all of our wires going through there. It's going to be a tedious task, but it'll teach you the correct way to do it. Actually, scratch that. I've got an idea. I'm going to change it up a little bit. So I'm going to put the hole right about here, and I'm just going to do a quick boolean on that. I'm not going to make it real complex. You can create your own circles and subdivide them and make a circle in the edit mode, and then delete faces and cut it through. We're going to do something a little different here. So I'm just going to go ahead and drop in a cylinder. And I'll bring that down to scale. Let's hit S and Z and kind of make that a little bigger so I'm sure it's going through. Yeah, it's fine. And then I'll select the table, shift, right click here, hit the space bar and type in boo. And the boo tool, let's go down to difference. Okay, kind of glad that happened because I will select it the opposite way so that the active object is the one that's getting cut. Try that again, and boom. Now you've got a Boolean hole, and you get a general idea of what you need to do to cut that hole. So real quick, I'm going to back out of there and show you the mirror modifier. And we're going to go back and cut that hole, and then you're going to see why I'm doing this. Okay, so I'm kind of distracted here, so I'm going to hide the backgrounds and all the lighting. I'm even going to get rid of the table legs. And that is just selecting them, hit hide, and then to bring them all back, it's Alt H, and everything comes back. Alright, so let's get in this view. Tab on over to edit mode and Control Z, and then just shift select one side of the table. Actually, make sure you press 3 for face. And hit X, and let's delete those faces. Now you're left with half a table. Let's Alt Z back over. Go over to the wrench, which is your modifiers. Let's collapse the bevel. It's not blocking us. And let's add in a mirror. And now we've got the table back. It's already selected to the X axis, so we don't have to do anything. But if you wanted it to be on the Y axis as well, you can click that, and you can kind of mess with these other functions as you see fit, as you want to modify something, and then the entire table's back. And it's still got the bevel, but we don't want that. We want the cutaway because it's kind of where you're leaning in working on your computer, so we don't want that. Now that I've done that, I can tab back over to edit mode, and let's subdivide this a little bit. Nope. Let's just go back to object mode. Okay, go back to object mode. We're going to go ahead and cut our hole. Go back to dropping in the cylinder, scale it down. Something big enough for the wires to go through. So that's through. Doesn't look like it. There we go. That's good. Now this is selected, and then we'll shift select so that our table is the thing getting cut, and it's got the active object border, as you can see. Spacebar, and we'll do our difference tool here. Okay, now I've got the mirror modifier. I took it from below the bevel and put it first in the order. And you can see that kind of even corrected the table a little bit. And just something to note that when you have a modifier here and it's created extra geometry, that is not mesh yet. It's not even there. So you would have to take the bevel, if you were, and then apply it. And obviously you got to go back to object mode to do that. And now that's the way it's going to be. And I can clean that up and or subdivide it or do anything I want to do to it later. And now I've got the mirror modifier. And what I want to do before I would apply it is I want to do all the work on the table that's going to produce the model that we want. So you can jump back into edit mode. And what I want to do is create some loop cuts here. And so just Control R and create a couple loop cuts. And what I want is I want my hole for all of the wires on this side, and I want one over here as well. So what I can do to achieve that, and if you go over here real quick, you can see on cage, this isn't showing the vertices on the mirror modifier on the other side until you click this. So you click the on